What is civics? Civics education is something that has been not really emphasized in many curriculums everywhere. The basic idea behind civics education is how to be a responsible citizen. So, in my opinion, there's a few meaningful components to this. One is a understanding of history. You have to know how your society came to be in order for you to participate in it responsibly. So, there's history is a major part of it, and that's a lot of what we focus on at palacenter.com. And then there's a related part of it, which is learning how voting works and how governmental structure works in your current environment. And that's generally where, of the places that do offer civics education, that's where most of the focus is. So you might get a little bit of history, and then you get a little bit of, oh, here's how voting works, here's how the checks and balances in the democratic government may work. And then there's also, but that there still goes, in order to be a responsible citizen, you definitely need to know those things, but there's much more involved too. There's also literacy, meaning do you have the ability, especially in today's world where there's so much digital media, do you have the ability to determine what's real, what's not? How do you sort of calibrate that where there's a lot of information that's true, lies by omission, lies by commission? How do you sort of deal with that? And then there's also non-state actors. So a lot of history education has a focus on changes in government, which are very true. But in today's life, a lot of what impacts your role in society, a lot of what controls society is done by entities outside the government, large corporations, especially technology vendors. So you could argue, for instance, big technology companies like Google or Amazon have a greater influence over current society than many governmental organizations. So from that perspective, in order to be a responsible citizen, knowing a bit about them is also very important, especially there's kind of interplay. Like I mentioned at Palace Center, we're definitely focused on the history, but we're starting to, a lot of our things will sort of touch on these things tangentially. So we're talking mostly about government history, but we do sort of incorporate private organizations, how they're playing a role, as well as some elements of media literacy, so that students sort of are getting ready to be a proper civics education, at least set the stage for that, so they can participate responsibly in society.